After what it seemed like to be kind of a downside of their season in the last couple of weeks for the Mets have started to slowly become that team that people thought they were going to be this offseason. Now, if you guys do not know, the Mets are currently 23-23 if I'm not mistaken. They pretty much tied their record after their game they just had versus the Guardians. If you guys don't know what happened in that game, I'll give you a really brief explanation. Pretty much Cookie Carrasco kind of just fumbled in the first inning. I think he gave up a 3-run homer to Josh Naylor, and eventually Polar Bear Pete came in. He hit a grand slam, tied the game, and then the Mets gave it away again. And then of course at the 10th inning, our guy, the one of the kids I want to talk about today, Francisco Alvarez, actually helped the Mets tie up the game, and eventually Francisco Lindor walked off on his old team. Eventually the Mets won 10-9, and the thing I want to talk about today is why the Mets are prospering so much as of late. They just took a series off of the Rays. If you guys do not know, the Rays, one of the best teams in all of the MLB right now, they just took a series off them. The Mets are piping hot right now. Of course, the bullpen issues and things like that, and of course the pitching stuff is things to talk about and reasons why people aren't really so hot on the Mets right now. Of course, they've had a lot of pitching issues with some of their big starters. A roster with so much money, and how are they not performing as such? But today, the thing I want to talk about is the 3 stars of the Mets team right now, the young players. I'm talking about Mark Vientos, Brett Baty, and of course Francisco Alvarez. These 3 people I'm naming off right now are reasons that the Mets even got to where they were these last couple of games. Francisco Alvarez has hit 2 home runs in the last 2 games if I'm not mistaken, and all of them have been very impactful and helpful to their team. Now, Francisco Alvarez of course has had his kind of shaky start to the season. He's batting a 200 average right now, but he is slowly becoming that catcher that people really want him to be. Of course, we know he is a powerful bat, and once that guy gets going, he's going to be doing really well. Of course, right now he's seeing the ball really well, which is really good. The other person I want to talk about is Brett Baty. Brett Baty got the first hit of the game. The Mets only hit 1 ball in like 4 innings this game that just happened on May 19th, but Brett Baty in general has been a stellar player. Of course, his defense is there. It's something that he practiced a lot in spring training, and it's something that a lot of people expect him to be good at, right? Brett Baty, of course, is someone that could definitely hit the ball, but his defense is what people really look after. I think Brett Baty has been really good, and Mark Vantos recently just got called up, so I don't want to say much about him, but Mark Vantos has had a hit already. The Mets, of course, is just a team a lot of people joke about because some days they'll do really well. They'll have a 10-run game, and other days they'll just go nil. Like, they'll just have 0 points and probably get maybe like 1 hit a game. It's just a team that sometimes the bats just fall asleep, and yes, you could say that's just baseball, but I feel like it's just a law Mets thing that happens a lot of the time. These young kids are inspiring a lot of the veterans on the team. We saw it today in the Guardians game. Alvarez is the one that got things really going in that 10th inning. It freaking inspired the dugout, and then Francisco Lindor finished the job by driving him home and ended up winning him the game. That is the important part. This team is playing together. A lot of people just expect the Mets to just do well because they get paid a ton, and yes, that is true, but you also got to factor in teamwork. I guess the argument of money over teamwork is something to be talked about, but I think this Mets team definitely needed this win. I think the Mets in the next coming weeks can do really well, and I'm really curious what they're going to do at the trade deadline, because honestly, the trade deadline is about 2 months or 3 months away, but you know, things are starting to heat up, right? You're starting to see a lot of prospects kind of get called up or kind of get saved for that trade deadline. Personally, I would love to see ronny mauricio come into this lineup very soon, but I don't know. What do you guys think, Mets fans? Let me know in the comment section down below. I personally am very excited. I just want to talk about this game because I just watched it, and I just want to know, Mets fans, are you excited that the Mets are finally doing really well? They're going to be playing again tomorrow on May 20th, so I'll be watching that game, but I just want to know your guys' feelings. I think this Mets Guardians series is going to be really good, and if you're not watching it, you should.